Wish TV. All Indiana Politics
is your premier source for Indiana politics.
Focusing on issues that matter to you.
In-depth, nonpartisan coverage, exclusive interviews with Indiana's political leaders, expert analysis on critical legislation. From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app, bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecasts, radar, and Indiana sports, all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere. Central Indiana. Wish TV is now live on YouTube TV and Hulu Live, offering more hours of local programming than any other station. Search for Wish TV or look for CW8 on both YouTube TV and Hulu Live to find us. Watch local news, sports, and lifestyle shows live from Wish TV. You can still catch Wish TV free over the air or stream it live on wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile apps. Wish TV, available in more places for the latest news, weather, and sports.
I'm Garrett Bergquist, government reporter for Wish TV and WRTV, and the producer of All Indiana Politics. Delegates to the Indiana Republican Party Convention on June 20th will have 4 choices for Secretary of State. Current Secretary of State Diego Morales, Max Engling, David Shelton, and Jamie Reitenour. Reitenour is a conservative activist. She ran for governor in the Republican primary 2 years ago. She says she wants to return the Secretary of State's office and elections in Indiana to the way they were originally envisioned when the current state constitution was adopted in 1851. I sat down with her to discuss her vision for the office. Let's bring in Jamie Reitenour, one of the 4 Republicans running for Secretary of State. Jamie, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Garrett.
Why are you running for Secretary of State?
The Secretary of State office is a special office. My husband was the first to tell me that he felt that it was a real good fit. And then I began to do research on the office, and with my compliance background, being over a compliance real estate broker in California, 1,000 plus loan officers, 5 different departments, 38 states, it's just right up my alley. And then as I began to study the position, a lot of Hoosiers came to me and said that they were originally helping out the current Secretary of State, and that he had made them a lot of promises that he did not keep. And they wanted to know if I could come in and help. And so I looked at the things that he had ran on, which namely in 2022 it was paper ballots. Of course now in 2026 it's $1 million, but slight change. But we've gone back to paper ballots and precincts and hand counting, and then really wanting to do more in the Secretary of State's office that's geared towards the state of Indiana, transparency. So we're excited about this.
So I want to get into a couple of those things. So you do want to require hand-marked paper ballots for all elections in Indiana?
Yes, absolutely. So we know that France does it. They've got 60 million plus people, and they hand count their ballots in France. And Indiana is definitely, we've got a little over 5,000 precincts. And when you look at the statistics, we've got like 60% are under 600 ballots, and then another 38 or so percent are under are between 600 and 1,200. And then when you've got the 2% range, you're looking at, that's the 1,200 to 1,800 ballots in that precinct. So there's really not a lot of ballots that are in that higher percentage. And we think Hoosiers can handle it. And we think being involved in your elections is good, and it's constitutional. It's less expensive. And when it comes to machines, the security you have to pay for those machines, it's millions and millions of dollars, and then there's still vulnerability. And so we are really bringing to the table what we believe Hoosiers voted for in 2022, and we think we're going to see a good response here in 2026.
Does requiring a hand count of all ballots, though, introduce the risk of human error?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's going to be error in any situation, but what we know is that there are multiple states that have already started walking down this path. And of course, we've done this in the not too far ago, so like 10 years ago or so, we were still doing this. But whenever you do the system in a way that provides the accountability, where you've got 2 counters there and 1 person watching, the error rate goes down, and we think Hoosiers can handle that, and we think that they will step up, and we also think the next generation is ready to do this. They want to be involved in politics, they want to make sure their voice is heard, and this is a great way to do that.
Where do you stand on early voting?
Early voting is interesting. So if you look at the statistics from 2018 and 2022, there was a 10% drop in the amount of people that showed up to vote. And so we didn't see an increase in voter activity due to early voting. And I really think that we're in Indiana, where there's already a low percentage of participation in our elections. And so we want to increase that participation. And I think following the Constitution, having it on one day really builds that momentum. And I think the state will respond well to that.
But if you get rid of early voting, doesn't that remove an option for people who either they're working on Election Day or maybe they get sick on Election Day, some kind of emergency comes up?
So the legislation that I run on is House Bill 1166. And when it comes to absentee voting, we do have the absentee voting that would be geared towards things that are absolutely necessary. But when it comes to just the early voting, kind of the window that we opened where people can just go when they want, we lean back into the Constitution and say it's supposed to be on one day. It's supposed to be a priority on one day where everybody in the Republic in the state of Indiana is participating. It drives that momentum. And you know what it also does? It keeps the news from framing elections. Because when there's early voting, the news likes to jump in and start reporting, this is how many people we've seen coming out. This is what we're seeing on the Democrat side. This is what we're seeing on the Republican side. And as a conservative, it's like we want, and I think all people can identify with this, we don't want news involved in our elections. We just want to vote, and we want to see the people that we are voting for do what they say they're going to do. And so I think that going back to one day is constitutional, and I think it's what we need to do as a state as well.
Don't let high golf rates drive you out of bounds. Save big with the Wish TV Great Golf Club Card.
Central Indiana's largest golf club card membership is back for the 8th season with more courses than ever before. Save over 75% on tee times at 27 Central Indiana golf courses. All you need is the Wish TV Great Golf Club Card. Cards are valid for the entire 2026 golf season.
Great courses, great savings. Score your Great Golf Club Card today.
Current Secretary of State Diego Morales has attracted controversy due to his overseas travel, hiring family members, that sort of thing. How would you restore trust in that office?
Right, so I'm focused on Indiana, not India. And what I try to do is I try to remind everybody that whenever you focus on this state, you're on the ground, you're talking to clerks on the ground, right? Because they're going to be the ones that are closest to elections. And then you've got to make sure that you prioritize the needs that are in your department. I think it's very easy for people to become figureheads of these kinds of positions in government. And I'm not a figurehead, I'm an administrator. And so we are going to be hands-on. We're going to be having press conferences every Tuesday. And so I think what the people will find is a team that has a plan, that is communicating that plan to the state, and is being transparent why we do so.
A lot of the attention is on the Secretary of State's electoral responsibilities, but there are other responsibilities such as for business licensing. How would you approach that issue? What are some things you think need to be done there?
Sure. Well, there's been a little bit of communication going on social media about the concern. There's been some companies, some trucker companies that have kind of crossed the social media concern. And I would say that, we have to be really careful in the Secretary of State's office because it is administrative. And so what we would do in situations where we are kind of concerned about business offices that may not be doing what they're supposed to is we'd be putting algorithms together, checking addresses. I think overall the administrative side could use more transparency, but we're looking forward to getting to know the people that are already working in the department, seeing what things they see on the ground, what things maybe they've wanted to go up the chain and see change but haven't yet, which is very common. And then we're looking to come out as a team and show Indiana unity and excel as a department. That's why we run on Back to the Constitution, United in Excellence.
Bo Bai won the Democratic convention. He has significant name recognition and a very strong donor network. Does that concern you at all?
Well, no, not at all. I mean, he was just in his, I think you were there at the convention. I think he got 61% of the vote. So that's 39% that he didn't get. And he's in the state of Indiana. President Trump won the state by 19 points. We know that Indiana is a conservative state. Indiana is not looking to take on the Democrat policies that ruin, like the city of Indianapolis that is struggling right now. We are looking for conservative policies to go forward, and what they really are wanting, the people of the state of Indiana, is for our conservative representation to do what they say they're going to do. And I am a person that's coming in to hold everyone accountable, to allow the people to hold us accountable, and I think that's what voters are looking for.
So on June 20th, you'll be one of 4 candidates vying for Secretary of State nomination at the State Republican Party convention. What makes you the best choice?
So I am here to work for the people. I'm not here to advance my political career. I do not need this job. I have studied this job. I understand the different departments. I understand what's lacking. I understand how we can improve, and I already have the 90-day plan. I understand that legislation is necessary. There was a lot of authority that was legislated away from the Secretary of State's office, and we need to repeal that legislation. I've already got a co-sponsor for the bill, a senator that's going to come in and support the legislation that's already been filed. I'm working for the people right now, and that's what people are looking for. They are tired of their tax-paying dollars going to politicians. We want people to go in and just do the job. And so when I go to convention, I'm going to interview for the job, and I'm going to prove that I'm the best candidate. And I'm going to leave that decision to the delegates. They're a smart group of people, and I trust them.
Jamie Reitenour, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks, Garrett.
That was Jamie Reitenour. She's one of 4 candidates vying for the Republican nomination for Secretary of State at the Indiana Republican Party convention to be held in Fort Wayne on June 20th. Remember, you can catch All Indiana Politics every Sunday at 9:30 in the morning on Wish TV and at 11:30 in the evening on WRTV. I'm Garrett Bergquist. Thanks for listening.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Watch All Indiana Politics live Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Wish TV and at wishtv.com. Subscribe to this podcast and listen weekly here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.